Not just because, oh, you've got the title of CEO, so I have to show you respect, but it's not from the heart, if you know what I mean.
And do you feel it will improve the quality of work, the profit that the company is having, if they bring in like professionalism and spirituality together?
Absolutely. And honestly, I think the first program I was talking to you, I was saying that in Australia, so many of the big massive companies have meditation rooms. Now, they're not stupid. Why do they do that? Because they know when their staff are relaxed, calm, peaceful, happy, they're more productive. If people are unhappy, it's shown their immune system goes down and they have a lot of days away from work, or there's a lot of more conflict in the workplace, or their mind is so engaged with their problems that they can't really produce properly. And these days, and I'm sure it's the same in India, but I find all over the world, so much in the workplace, there's seminars around, self-awareness and self-value and give all these sorts of things, because people have the skills base, but they don't really have the spiritual base. You need both. It's not that you should only have the spiritual base. You need both bases to become a successful person. I often feel there's 3 intelligences we need. We need intellectual ability. That ability gets me a great job, helps me earn money, helps me understand the world. But when I'm stressed and anxious, does it help? Doesn't help. So the first intelligence is, IQ, intellectual ability. The second is emotional intelligence, which is the wisdom to get on with people. And a lot of people have those 2 forms of wisdom, but the third wisdom is spiritual intelligence. And if emotional intelligence is the wisdom to have loving, rich relationships with others, spiritual intelligence is the wisdom to have a loving, rich relationship with me. Because if that relationship is polluted, it pollutes absolutely everything. And this is what the Brahma Kumaris are teaching, is like that first intelligence. We respect that intellectual ability. You need the university degree. You need the emotional intelligence. But if you don't have spiritual intelligence, I find little things disturb you. You have no inner strength to face problems. And what people want today in the workplace is people who are stable, sensible, can work hard, face problems. But if people get emotional, if they're difficult, and if they have a lot of ego, they're sensitive, they misread all the messages, they don't work well. And so investment in my spiritual intelligence, that spiritual awareness, I think is an essential ingredient, and becoming more so for someone in the workplace,
And can your spiritual intelligence increase the other 2 quotients?
I would say definitely, because the more you know yourself and respect yourself, the more you can respect the other. And I think you get a much bigger perspective on life. We are living in such a sensitive world. When I travel, like I've just been in Scandinavia, I went to all 4 Scandinavian countries, and then I was in the Middle East. It's a very uncertain world everywhere. The future is very uncertain. And I think that you might have all the skills of your education, but if you don't have an ability to deal with change, to be flexible, to know yourself deeply, then really you get thrown. If there's an economic crisis, a political crisis, and any day it can happen anywhere in this world. I think, the leader of the future is the person who is very flexible and is in that state of self-awareness, so that they can adjust to very fast changing circumstances.
Okay, till now we've been discussing about me and the other person, like soul to soul. So where does the Supreme Soul come into this picture? How do you bring in God in your spiritual life?
I think, for me, it's the anchor. Because when my mind is connected to my boss, family members, the workplace, the situation, what happens to my mind? One day it's great and the next day, and it's really like that. What I've learned is not just a belief in God. No, I don't think people just want a belief, a devotional belief, but it's like you're connected to a source which is constant, stable, always there, just a thought away, loving, peaceful, pure, benevolent. And it's almost like when you don't know yourself, I'm looking for you to love me and respect me, and you to support me, and you to do this. And when they go up and down, what happens to me? When I look to God as my lover, in a sense, as the soul who's my support, then that's fixed. It's like the intellect is anchored there. And as the world swirls around you with ups and downs, here's and there's, people loving you and then they don't like you, and then you have that sense of inner stability. And to me, it's a very natural relationship. That's what I like. Some people, the way I see God as a soul, like myself, but an eternally pure soul, and some people still see it as a concept or a belief. So it's sort of like when they meditate, they're meditating on a belief or a point of philosophy, but actually it's really refinding the lover of the soul, the real companion.
Soulmate.
Yeah, exactly, a soulmate. A real living, pulsating soul. And once I was in Germany, and there was a sister there who's a BK, and she was doing experiments in telepathy with another psychologist in another city. So whenever they thought of each other, they wrote down the time. And they did it over months, and 70% were within seconds, because each time you think of somebody, like you're sitting here even interviewing me, I'm sure a few people have popped into your mind.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, because you get little thought messages. They think of you and you pick it up, but often we don't consciously think they're thinking of me. So the thoughts have an energy, and it's instant, absolute instant. You pick it up. It's the same with God. Actually, I'm connecting in a real sense. And when I connect, I'm picking up the energy of that pure soul. And when that's,
so does he think about us? He keeps thinking about us?
Yeah. And so it's like that's the influence on my mind. It's like a real energy. It's not just believing in some concept. It's a real living relationship. And that's what has become really important for me, to make it very real. Of course, it's a challenge, because the way we understand, the Supreme Soul doesn't have a physical body. And so to communicate, I have to also go onto the same wavelength. And I often think it's like God's on the FM dial. And when I
need to tune in.
When I'm body conscious or I'm not self-aware, I'm on the AM dial. Now I know the FM dial exists, but I can't tune in. If I go onto the FM dial, in other words, I become soul aware, I'm tuning in. It's real. It's absolutely real. It's not just sitting there imagining and sitting and believing in a concept. I'm actually connecting with the Supreme Soul. And that's a huge source of internal power. Massive.
So what are the relationships that you have with God, that you experience with God?
Well, I think my personality, I feel the most important thing in life is the exchange of love. So I really feel, God's like my best friend, my lover in that sort of sense, because I find when the soul feels love, real love, I think there's such a sense of that's all you really need, and really the mind cools down. I think when love is there, you can really feel peace. If love isn't there, true love in life, the agitated mind can never rest. You know how some people, the mind's agitated. It's sort of always looking, jumping, searching. It can never just relax. Because I think unless you taste a quality of love, then, life, you're restless, you're discontent. And I think that, that's what I found that when I really feel that genuinely, I feel so easy and self-accepting, and so that's one relationship I think is a really good friend. So in life, as we move about in life, you've got a really good friend, but also a guide in a sense, because there's so much to learn in life, you know. You never stop learning. In fact, I think it increases the learning curve. How to deal with situations, how to deal with people, you know, how not to overreact. And I think when that sort of friendship and guidance is there, it helps in a very real way. It's not that just you sit and pray in the morning and then go and behave differently, but it's like during the day, that relationship is really with me. And I feel when it's close, I've often noticed when I meditate well, if I can say that, I'm different. I'm much more gentle, you know, and soft and understanding of people. You know, I can see there's a tangible change in my behavior. Yeah.
So you experience these relationships when you are meditating?
Yeah. To be very honest, I don't consciously think, oh, I'm now doing this relationship or that relationship. It's just
those feelings.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely. I mean, when you meditate, you do many different things, because I think, you know, sometimes I love to practice aspects of soul consciousness, self-awareness, but I love to really feel connected, feel that love, and sometimes in that state of when you really feel you're in that elevated state, reflect in that state. So if you have something to understand, to reflect on it when you're in that elevated state, because then you see clearly if I need to change something in my own attitude or how to deal with a situation. So I like to
Brother, you said the relationship you enjoy the most with God is that of a friend, and a common saying is a friend in need is a friend indeed. So how does this friend of yours help you when you're in need?
Very much, you know, because I think that that's what friends are. You know, if you look at life, friends are the most enduring relationship of all, in a way. You know,
they last the longest.
They last the longest, and they're usually the most stable. And I think that it's like when you develop this friendship, in a sense, that it's like an awareness as you go about your life. You know, someone to talk to in a way, mentally, and I feel that when you're in that soul-conscious state, you know you're closer to truth. You know what you need to do. You know, even if a part of you is reacting to a scene, you know, you do feel a little bit frustrated or angry, but still in your mind, you know that your behavior should be different, and you can bring it back into that behavior. I mean, everything about the spiritual journey is learning and observing, and you know, and it takes time. You need patience. I remember once when I started in London, Daddy Janki, who is now the head of the Brahma Kumaris, she said, you need 3 things in spiritual life. The first is patience. The second is patience.
The third should be patience.
More patience. And it's true, with myself, because we want to change immediately. But with those, as we know, those habits, those impressions, those sanskaras, those habitual patterns, they're deep. Some of them are deep. So I find that, you know, some things change easily, some habits, but some soft sanskaras can change, but the hard ones take time. They do take time.
So this deep understanding of yourself as a spiritual being, how has it shaped the purpose of your life now? What is the purpose of your life now?
It's totally shaped it. And I feel, you know, the purpose of life for me is to love God and have a benevolent attitude to everybody, you know, just to feel it's a life to serve, because, you know, I've had the fortune, I think, to visit something like 80 or 90 countries, which I really love, because each part of the world is so unique. People are so lovely, but people are suffering deeply. No, really. As I said, no matter how good they look on the surface, really inside. And I think that when, you know, you feel that love of God in a true way, you have a lot of merciful feelings. And it's, you know, just to have a life dedicated to serve, not with an arrogance, I'm serving you, but just to make life or the atmosphere better, or offer people. And you know, to be very open, some people don't accept some of these ideas, that's fine. But at least you can give love and respect to people. And I've had some amazing experiences all over the world of, you know, meeting all kinds of people from all religious backgrounds and non-religious backgrounds. And I feel that, yeah, people are thirsty for something of truth that's relevant to them.
So if I want to start on this journey, like completely not from a spiritual inclination or not having any idea of this, but I want to start on this journey. So what do you think I should experiment with first, or what do you think I should open up to first?
Well, I think just have the aim to take responsibility. And you know, I think there's two types of people. There's one who, when they get on in life, things happen, they feel very angry, very resentful and frustrated and blame a lot and feel that life's dealt me a bad card. And then there's people who sometimes go through that and realize that actually, you know, it's a learning and I've got to take responsibility, I have to change myself. And I think that at least when people come to that point, they're open to spirituality. I mean, at first, really, you need to do a course, and all our centres, all the Brahma Kumaris offer a very simple, universal course on the underpinning knowledge of how to meditate. But then you need to practice for some months. Like in Australia, we have 3 beautiful live-in retreat centres. They're very beautiful places, and every weekend we're full. And I always say to people when I'm there that you've got to do it for at least 3 months, because you know, when you wake up every morning and you meditate and then you step into the day practicing attitudes, you start to see the benefit of it, and then you're motivated to continue. But people want an instant fix these days, you know. Just like if you've got a headache, you take a drug. They want it. But this is where the patience is required.
The 3 patience.
Yeah, you need patience, but it's the best investment in a good life. You know, to look after your own. No one else is going to look after your inner world. You know, your mind, your heart, your feelings. It's essential today. I'd say it's essential.
I had a wonderful time, brother, taking this journey with you. And I'm sure our viewers too enjoyed these 3 episodes that we had with you.
Thank you, Sharon. It's been lovely to meet you too, and thank you for having me.
It's been an absolute pleasure meeting you, brother.
Thank you.
So, as we found that just to start this journey, we just need to open up to new ideas and practice them and have patience till it shows its magic in our life. And we hope these experiences that Brother Charlie has shared with us has inspired you to take that first step. We will be meeting you with more eminent personalities from different countries and different professions in the forthcoming episodes. Do join us in them too. And keep watching Soul to Soul Talk Show. Thank you, brother.
Thank you very much, Sharon.
Thank you, viewers, for joining us, and have a great life.